let's talk Moana. I love that show. I think it's brilliant. And here's why. Watch this scene, and then I'll explain. I have crossed the horizon to find you. I know your name. Moana realizes that Te Kā is actually the goddess of life, Te Fiti. So she faces her fears and walks right into the fire, literally, which is the first brilliant part of the scene, in that she faces her fears. She doesn't let her concern for dying stop her. She knows that the Te Kā can take her out in 5 seconds flat, but she just decides this is happening. So she walks toward her, and the term, or the words, I know your name. She was reminding her of who she is. She says, they have stolen the heart from inside you, but this does not define you. Every time she says that, I'm like, oh, it is just perfect, because she sees Te Kā for who she is. And she's telling her, I see you. I know they hurt you. I know your heart's been stolen, but that's okay, because I'm still seeing who you are. This is not who you are. You know who you are. The entire scene, Moana is reminding Te Fiti who she is. And essentially she gets to choose whether she's the love monster or the goddess of life. And here's why I think that entire scene is brilliant. Because as Moana is talking to her and reminding her she is, paralleling that in life, Te Fiti represents somebody that's been hurt, terribly hurt. You know, they've stolen the heart from inside you. I can't tell you how many times I felt like my heart had just been shattered over and over, with my postpartum depression, with losing my baby. And that's what it felt like. Like life had just stolen the heart, and somehow you were supposed to survive. So you become this monster, which Te Kā was the monster that became. And instead of running from her and cursing her name, Moana embraced her. She didn't judge the fact that this hurt goddess was literally blowing things up. She just reminded her. She went into the fire with her. And that's why that scene is so brilliant to me. People hurt and they suffer, and as a society, we don't go into the fire. We send them into the fire or leave them in the fire, but it takes something to walk into the fire with them, you know, and to support them in the suffering. And in my experience with depression and losing my baby and all of the grief that followed those events, the healing came for the people, or from the people, that were willing to be in the fire with me. Hang on, baby. Here. It came from the people that were there reminding me, I know your name. I'm here for you. You're not the monster that you think you are. You feel like a monster, you really do, but you're not the monster that you think you are. Every time I watch that scene, I feel like I can breathe again. Because to me, it represents what we as a society get to do. What we get to transform, what we get to shift. We get to be in the fire with the people we love. We get to hold them through that grief and the suffering and not leave them alone in their hell, because that's where they're at. They're in hell 100%, and they feel like the monster. I did. When I had postpartum depression severely the first time, I was a monster. I saw myself as a monster. I experienced myself as a monster. I couldn't even remember what it felt like to be human. And I felt like I walked that road completely alone. There were a few bright points. But as a culture, we just don't recognize that level of suffering. And so we tend to back away. But the way to heal and to help others through that suffering is to go into the fire. And she did. And her willingness to walk into the fire for Tafiti saved her world. To me, that parallel is huge. Your willingness to walk into the fire with somebody when they're suffering so completely that they cannot see light, and all they see when they look in the mirror is a monster. It's how you save their life. Literally, in many cases, figuratively in others. You walk the fire with them. And that's why Moana is brilliant.